Welcome to another Ask DLF. It's so weird without the intro song. Um, Honestly, it's so weird without a lot of things. It's been, a very interesting time for us as a show. Um, but I just yeah, no, I appreciate everyone who's stuck with us, even though there's been, a lot of different co-hosts, different things going on over the last few weeks. Hutch, how have you been? How's
I've been
life?
great. I've been really great actually. Twitter's been fun lately. Tomorrow marks 7 months with for me and my girlfriend. So and then I'm on Ask
Oh,
DLF tonight.
congratulations.
This is fun. I'm having a pretty good
I
day so
love to
far.
hear that.
And I'm having a great day so far. And now I'm here gonna answer some Dynasty questions.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So, just in case people haven't, because this show obviously it was me and Cal for a year. And we had a
Yeah.
bunch of guest hosts for a while. There was a period where Cal and I would have a guest on usually. Then we added Addison to the show. And then, it was Cal, Addison, and I basically for a while. So essentially, if you've noticed, Cal hasn't been here, Addison hasn't been here. Cal left the show a few weeks ago. I forget exactly when he told me, but then it was a couple things that came up. He couldn't come on the show. I'm sure we'll have an opportunity down the line for Cal to come on the show, maybe sometime later, and like do some sort of thing. You know, that'll probably happen at some point. I'm gonna miss him. We started doing the show together. It was a good run, but yeah. So that Cal is gonna be doing other projects for DLF and then other things. And then Addison, I think he's still gonna be here at some point tonight. Hopefully. Uh,
See.
this was supposed to be. I knew about this obviously going into the show. This was supposed to be Addison's last show tonight, and it will be. I do hope that Addison does appear at some point to say goodbye to you guys himself instead of just this from me.
Yeah.
Um, Similarly to Cal, Addison also is going to work on some other projects, specifically with the YouTube channel. I do know that just like given his weekly schedule, the time of this show is difficult for him, especially the time of the show. It's can be very inconvenient for him just based on his schedule. So, I'm sure he'll be, if he comes on later, I'll let him discuss more about that. I definitely think Addison and I have talked about continuing to record some content for the YouTube channel. Probably we'll sit and record some videos at a time that's more convenient for him and for a shorter period of time. We'll record some shorter videos. We might, record for an hour, cut like 4 10-minute videos and publish them. So you'll probably still see some stuff from me and Addison in the future. And as I always say, I love working with Addison. If I could, yeah. I mean, I wish I could record with Addison every day. And I'm gonna miss Addison, yeah, more than anything. Yeah, it sucks, but it's a lot of turmoil, a lot of stuff going on, changes to the
Yeah.
show. I'm still gonna be here. Hutch is going to be my new co-host.
Yeah.
Um, Permanently, and then actually, Josh from Front Yard Fantasy is gonna be our third co-host. So he's going to be our third
Correct.
co-host starting next week. It'll be the three of us. You may see more often than in the past. I think you will see some additional people on the show to spice up the weekly stuff. I might have some guests, stuff like that,
Yeah.
when I can. This is a relatively large platform. I don't think it'll be too hard to book people who want to come on the show.
Yeah.
And I do recognize that I've been doing this show a long time, and I have no plans to stop doing it. But we've been hearing from me the same things from me for a year and a half. And while that's, great on my own channel where people subscribe to it just for me, mostly, that's what they're looking for. On the DLF channel, I do recognize that I think I'm going to try to get more variety of voices involved in the Ask DLF conversation, specifically people who are at DLF who have not had a chance to be on the show, or those who, maybe I haven't worked with or whatever. I am going to try to get them on the show. This is not true. This is not true. It's not true. It's not true. I think that, definitely a lot of people came to the show for Addison. The numbers of the show spiked when Addison joined it, and I do expect it to go back down without him. So I am not looking forward to that, but it is what it is. And we know that Addison does a lot of great content on the YouTube channel, and that his videos are all more widely viewed than this show. Mm-hmm. So I would disagree with the fact that the notion that people come to this show for me, because I really don't think that's true. If it were true, then my YouTube channel would be a lot more popular than it is. Just low key.
Thank you, MJ23.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah. I mean, Hutch has a great podcast. I think I don't know. Obviously, don't know anything about how your podcast numbers are, but it's a great podcast. You want to talk about that? You want to talk about your podcast?
Sure. I'm a host of my own podcast. I mean, I got no
solo
producers.
Show.
Yeah, it's a completely solo show. I got no producers, no editors, nothing. It's just me. Hutchinson Brown's Fantasy Football Perspective, pretty much anywhere podcasts can be found. But yeah, you can find that. And I'm also on Twitter, @HutchinsonB_FF. And
right there. Yeah.
It's right there on my handle. I post Twitter stuff I post everything on Twitter over there. I'm also
when was the last time you wrote a DLF article?
Last time I wrote a DLF article was about a few weeks ago. New one's coming out.
A few weeks ago. Okay, not too long ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I do write for DLF. It's just like,
I mean, it's like more recently than my recent.
Writing isn't my specialty. So, yeah. So I write like once a month right now. It's just like with all the other things I do in this fantasy community, I have 2 other jobs. I mean, well, I have one other job with Football Guys, obviously with that DLF now.
You're busy.
Hutchinson Brown's Fantasy Football Perspective. And I'm a teenager. I'm in school. Like I'm still
in
high school.
I don't know how you do it, bro.
I'm still in high school. So, I mean, like I'm still doing that as well. Like I got a lot on my plate. So writing is not something I can always put a major focus on, but once a month articles I'm doing right now.
Yeah, no, I get that. For me, writing, I mean, as you people from DLF know, I haven't written a DLF article all season. Not like I'm writing for anyone else. I haven't written an article all season. During the season, I just can't do it. I can't do it because the writing medium during the season for me is too static. It's too static. It takes too long for an article to come out. The season is very rapid fire. I can't do it. It just really does not go with my skill set, which, as we know, is answering questions on Twitter, on here, rapid fire responses, that kind of stuff. Article writing in season just does not work for me. I've done it the last 3 years, and I decided I couldn't be happier. This is the only last 4 years, the only time during the season I've been happy. So, and there's one thing I'm not doing this year. So I think that might explain. I think that's why I'm happier this year, is actually not writing those articles. During the off season, I think when I have more time, when I'm less stressed, I'll definitely come back as a writer, because I don't dislike it. But during the season, it just doesn't work with my grinding persona of how I do things. Additionally, I will say I am looking forward to introducing you guys to Josh more. He was on this show a couple weeks. Yeah, Josh is great, honestly.
Josh is awesome.
He very much reminds me. He's always has the energy that I have when I'm energetic, which is not most of the time for me, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm looking forward to introducing you guys to him. And then, like I said, I'm going to try to have some, of your more, some of the celebrities from DLF and stuff like that. Celebrities, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. People on here maybe that I wouldn't have asked in the past. I would have been too scared or whatever, but I don't, I can ask anyone at this point, I think. And hopefully they say yes. All right. So we start with, We start with a question. I think this is going to be very interesting because I actually listened to your show today, and you said you had a strong opinion about Deshaun Watson. A
I
very
do.
strong opinion.
Yeah, I do. I
It's a
do.
very strong opinion.
It is.
So it is, yeah. So this question says, a middle of the road team, would you rather have Lamar and Ayuk or Watson and London?
Yeah, assuming
Superflex
that's
tight end premium.
Deshaun Watson, right?
It has to be, yeah. It would make no sense otherwise.
Yeah, looking at you're a middle of a road team, I mean, you're probably trying to make a potential playoff push, right? I mean, if I'm a middle of a road team, if you're looking like you're going to be in the playoffs, like you're on the edge, you're looking like you're going to be there, and you think you can make a couple moves to get like competitive, I would want the Lamar Ayuk side, honestly. I think that Deshaun Watson, especially this year, is not going to be the Deshaun Watson that we saw in Houston. Sure, he could be good still, but I just wouldn't bet on him after 2 years off, after all the drama and all the legal situation that has gone on with him. And the fact that, the Browns, I just don't know. The Browns always have a weird stench with them. It's just always been a weird stench with them. I just don't see Deshaun Watson coming back and being that Houston Texans quarterback that we saw in, 2018, 2019, 2020, when he was looking like potentially like the Josh Allen or Joe Burrow of today, like the future of the NFL. Like he was really looking like that, and then everything went south. I just don't think we ever see that Deshaun Watson ever again, especially this year. So I'm going to take the Lamar Ayuk side, try to push for that playoffs. If you're in the middle, I always want to push for a championship. I'd rather go for it.
Who would you rather have rest of the year, Lamar or Watson?
Definitely Lamar.
Really?
Yes, I'd rather have Lamar. I know what you're going to bring up. Lamar's definitely been struggling lately. I understand that.
That's an understatement.
I don't see him. I think Lamar will outperform Watson the rest of the season.
So, well, I mean, that seems unlikely. That seems very unlikely because in the last 8 games, he's scored a total of 8 touchdowns in those 8 games. Total, including rushing. It seems very unlikely. How is he going to outscore Deshaun Watson playing like that?
I mean, we saw a little bit of a comeback last night. Lamar's had a good performance last night.
I guess so. I guess so. It was okay.
QB8. I mean, look, 3 of his past 4 games, he's finished as a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm kind of concerned though.
Yeah, I am, because because the thing is, you're so concerned because he started so hot. He started QB1 2 of his first 3 weeks on the week. He started so hot, red hot, and then he just naturally regressed a little bit for like about 4 weeks. But the last 4 weeks, he's finished QB9, QB10, QB15, QB8. I mean, out of like a top 5-ish option you're looking at, that's not horrible. Like that, I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to be putting up those numbers.
Oh, I don't agree. I think he will. I think he will. Well, okay, but I think that it's an important time to have an important conversation about Deshaun Watson. Now is the time, I think, to have it.
Yes.
This conversation. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think, and I don't know if this is what you're doing. This is what I see. It sounds like to me is that people, myself included, do not want Deshaun Watson to succeed because he's a bad person. He's a bad person. So because he's a bad person, they don't want him, myself included, I'll include myself in they, don't want him to succeed. He's a bad person.
So
I don't want him
betting against him.
Correct.
Just because you don't want him to.
Correct.
Yeah,
I think that people are doing that. I really do.
I understand.
Because there is precedent. There is precedent for players who sit out multiple years to succeed. It happens all the time. I mean, Michael Vick, he went to jail. He was in. Deshaun Watson didn't go to jail. Michael Vick was in jail, and he came back and was better for fantasy than when he left. Like
just because he was great for fantasy doesn't mean he was as good as an NFL player, though.
Oh, really? I mean, he was pretty good. Didn't they win a bunch of games that year? They won. I mean, he never really took the Falcons anywhere, and then for the Eagles, he was just as good. I don't see that as any different. So I just think it's ridiculous to say that he's going to be bad. I mean,
I'm not saying he's going to be bad. Like, here's the thing. I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I think he will be a good NFL quarterback. I think he will be the starter for the Browns for a good amount of time. I'm just saying he won't reach that top 5 level, that elite unbelievable future of the NFL game-changing level we saw. That's what I'm
Well,
saying he doesn't reach. I'm not saying he won't be good.
ever is a very long time.
I don't think he reaches that. I don't think he
Ever
reaches what
again?
he
I
was.
mean,
I
what's
don't
the
think he
difference
reaches that
between?
status.
Oh well, I can't get behind that because why would he be any different from anyone? I get it. I get it if you want to say this year he was suspended. He didn't have time to integrate himself into the offense. There was, many issues. There were a lot of things. But going forward, I mean, he's going to have played some games. I mean, people miss time to injuries all the time. He's going to have played these games at the end of this year. I don't see why he would not be good next. Like I struggle to wrap my mind. I've heard you say it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
at this point,
It
I've
is.
heard you
It's
say
really
it maybe
something that
50 times. Both
Yeah, it's really something
when
you
I'm
have to
there
call
on the
it
show
by.
with you and also on some of your content that I've listened to that I haven't been there for. So I've heard you say it both when I have the chance to push back on it and when
Yeah.
there's no one to push back on it.
Yeah.
But it is very odd for me to be in the defending Deshaun Watson camp of things because I hate
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
I
I
was
know.
probably one of the most vocal people about how much I hate Deshaun Watson, how
Yeah, you said he shouldn't
how
deserve
bad of a
football again,
person he
which
is. How I think he should never play in the NFL again. And Browns fans, feel free to if you don't like it, feel free to turn off the show. I really don't care. I'm surprised if any Browns fans are left, honestly, after how much I've said about Deshaun Watson, how much I dislike him.
There's gonna be less of a fan base than the Chargers have.
Oh no. Well, no, there are plenty
Sorry,
of Browns
Chargers
fans left. I mean, Browns fans who watch my show, I think, with how much I've pissed off the Browns fan
Yes,
base,
you've
I
talked a lot
don't think
about
there
it.
are many
You've
of them
talked a lot of
left.
Deshaun Watson on this show. But yeah, it's just something for me that it's not a statistical thing. It's not like something I can really prove with numbers. For me, it's just something that I feel with my gut. I feel like one of the things I'm looking at, because especially as an Eagles fan, I watched what happened to Carson Wentz and how he mentally fell apart. Deshaun Watson, through this entire process, not really fully apologizing and not really like going, like he just showed a lot of immaturity for me. Like he just showed a lot of just a lot of immaturity, a lack of maturity, like Carson Wentz did, and that's giving me some scary vibes. So I feel like we should move on though.
Yeah, I mean, yes, we should move on. I just would say to the people that if you don't want to have Deshaun Watson on your dynasty team, just don't have him on your dynasty team. I don't have Deshaun Watson on any of my teams. I told most of my patrons to avoid him, which probably is not going to end up being good advice on paper, but I'm comfortable with it. With that being said, I would.
Yeah, we should move on, man.
No, I know.
There's tons of Deshaun Watson talk out there already.
It's fine. That's also another thing. That's another thing that I will say is nothing to do with Deshaun Watson. I will say that in the past on this show, there's been a focus on getting through the questions as quickly as possible. That kind of stuff. These days, I do think, especially with Josh coming on, as there's a comment later about this, I do think that the tone of the show will change to some degree. The tone of the show will change. It'll probably be more similar for those of you who've watched me on my own YouTube channel. It'll probably be more similar to that show, maybe with a little bit less cursing, a little bit less ranting. But I think it'll be the kind of show where we do have conversations about topics. It's going to be a new show, new format, and we do have conversations about topics. If we don't get to all the questions, we don't get to all the questions. Sometimes there are conversations I want to stop down on. I think it's important. I want the people to hear it. It is what it is. But it's just, things are going to be different. But at the end of the day, like, I'm still me. I still want to help you guys win. But I do recognize, and it's something I've learned. I've learned this over the last couple of years, big time, is that these shows are entertainment first. They're entertainment first, advice second, always. Because if you wanted advice most efficiently, you just ask me on Twitter and then I give you one word answer. You have the answer. That's it. I've heard so many times from people who watch this show, some version of, I heard it actually twice today, some version of, I was having a really bad day, but watching your show helped me feel better. I was having I was upset. It was a tough time, but knowing that your show was going to go on was something positive for me to look forward to. Those kinds of statements. So that's why I always like to remember that. That's an important part of what we're doing here. It's not just about helping you win your fantasy leagues. Because as I said, this is far from the most efficient way to take your questions. This is very inefficient. If this were the most efficient, we wouldn't get anywhere. We have the DLF Discord. It's a great new thing that DLF has. I think great. It's excellent. I would suggest everyone sign up for it. Are you in there? The Discord.
What? Me?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm in the Discord, no.
You got to get in there because it's good. It's a new community that DLF started. I have my own Patreon Discord, but this one obviously is a lot bigger because anyone can join it. And it's great. It's starting a conversation. So that's obviously a much more efficient way to answer your questions than this. Yeah, you should. You should. It's actually great. It's a great way. I honestly haven't.
I've never gotten anything on Discord. Do you feel have an app or something? I have no idea. I know I sound super dumb right now. I don't I don't have Discord.
Yeah, of course it's an app. Yes.
Yeah, I've never been I've never been on it ever.
I will say you talked about on your show. You said that you wanted to start launching a Patreon.
I did.
You're going to need to figure out how to use Discord. It's not optional. If you're going to have a Patreon can be integrated through Discord, and Patreon work well together. You can integrate your Discord through Patreon. You need to figure out how to use Discord. It's not an optional thing. It's a must because it's very important, especially with the way Twitter has been going, and we're not sure about the health of the platform. Yeah. Discord, I think, is a platform that's going to be very important for fantasy football moving forward. And I think content creators, I hope any who are listening, heard that because it's an important place to invest some of your time to build up, something on there. I really think it's very important. You can build a sense of community that you cannot build on Twitter. Twitter is anybody can come in. It's not a community. It's kind of a mess. On Discord, you can build a community. I think that's something that, DLF made a very good decision to launch their Discord. And I think it's something that other content creators should consider. It's worked great for me. My Patreon would not succeed without my Discord. It is the thing that drives my Patreon.
All right.
So I would highly recommend that for you and any other creators listening. We do have a super chat. I will take us to super chats. From Rob, and I appreciate the question. Anyone who offers a super chat, I appreciate you for not only listening, but donating to the show. That's a great thing, and I appreciate everyone who does that immensely. I have ETN, Rashad, White, 101, and another first that's going to fall between the 102 and 104. Late first and 4 seconds. It's past the deadline. Strategy for the offseason. So
I also want to add real quick. They did add, I have lots of young wide receivers, St. Brown, Traylon Burks, George Pickens, London, and Olave.
So they're well set up. It says right here. Yeah.
And they're additionally out of the playoffs. They added that later too. They're out of the playoffs. So they're.
Yeah. So that's why we're planning for the offseason.
Yes.
I would say, well, we're past the trade deadline. I mean, what can you do? You can't do anything right now.
Yeah, there's not much you can do right now, obviously, because you're past the trade deadline. You can't really make any moves. So I'm assuming the trade deadline would end after the fantasy championship, right?
So then maybe you could look at moving ETN. I'll put ETN on the block.
Yeah, I think
he's not really someone I'm looking to take into a losing team. I mean, I don't know how about the rest of your team.
Yeah, I would agree.
He doesn't really fit in. I mean, he's young, but he's not that young. I mean, he'll turn 24 in January.
Yeah, this is. I mean, next year we'll be looking at his third season already.
He also has some injury, history, a little bit of injuries. It's not too bad, but just not someone I'm looking for a younger team. He doesn't really fit that program.
No,
he doesn't fit that program for me. He's someone.
And with the 101, you'll be adding Bijan Robinson. I mean, it's pretty obvious. You'll be adding Bijan Robinson, so you don't need that. I don't think you really need ETN there. So yeah, between 102 and 104, I mean, it is a 1 QB. He hasn't said, and he said his quarterback is Lawrence, which is interesting. It's a 1 QB. His quarterback is Lawrence. So, I mean, we're not looking at a quarterback, right, in the draft at all.
That depends. I mean, in a 1 QB, probably not. But
in a 1 QB, probably not. Maybe later, maybe to add a depth piece if you don't have a good second quarterback. But yeah, in a 1 quarterback dynasty league, I don't think you need a significant upgrade over Lawrence. I don't know. You mean you can't really make any moves right now, but yeah, the thing I would look at is definitely selling ETN. He doesn't, like Tyler said, he doesn't really fit that rebuild kind of team. He doesn't really fit that. So definitely look to him. White is a great player to keep. 101, obviously looking at Bijan Robinson, and 102, 104. I mean, I haven't looked enough at the 2023 class. I can't really give you advice on these next few picks. I just don't really know enough of the players yet.
It's not my area of expertise, so
yeah, me neither. I do look at it always when draft season comes around, but
why when draft season comes around, but I don't look at it during the season very much.
Yeah, me neither.
All right. From Hector, give AJ Brown late 23 first, 24 first, get Chase. What do we think about that one?
That's really, really interesting. I think AJ Brown's gonna be easier to sell next week because I think he's gonna have a big week against his former Titans team. I think
would that be nice? Revenge?
That would be. I think that's gonna be. I genuinely believe he's gonna have a big game. But AJ Brown, a late 23 first and a 2024 first for Chase. I don't think the two firsts.
Excessive.
I think that's a lot for Chase.
I mean, yeah.
I think that's
Brown in the late. I think the 24 first is extra. You know, essentially AJ Brown in late 23 first is about equal to Chase. So
yeah, I think
24 first is too much extra. No player is worth this. It's just too much to give up for a single player.
Yeah, it's just too
Brown
much.
Side.
Yeah, I take the Brown side.
Matthew Erickson. For some reason, this made me think of Andrew Erickson.
Yeah, same. Yeah, Andrew Erickson.
Yeah. All right. Someone I could invite on the show. That's a long shot, but shoot a shot, right?
You try.
Yeah, I mean,
you can try.
You never know.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually a good idea.
I got JJ Zacharyson on my show.
Well, maybe I should try. That's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say is if you have, this might be a good thing. If you have guests that you would be interested in, I can't get everybody. You know, I don't. I don't know everyone or whatever. But if you have guests you want to see on the show, you put it in the chat and I'll see what I can do. I'll try.
Yeah.
I definitely would not expect guests to go for the full 2.5 hours, but I might have guests come on and do a little segment. Just to mix it up, have variety. You know, I don't want the show to get stale. Traded Pacheco and Rondale Moore for Brian Robinson, a 23 first and 24 second. Well, we won't spend much time on this one. It's the 23 first side easily.
Yeah, it's definitely the 23 first side. Yeah, it's definitely the first.
Yeah, great job. Excellent. A+.
Yeah, this is great.
Given the way it's worded, it sounds like he got the 23 first. I'll give you an A+.
Yeah.
Excellent job. Okay. Drafted. That's actually a weird question, but interesting one. If you drafted Jared Goff in a 2016 rookie Superflex draft, would you be okay with where you picked him relative to the career he's had? Well, where would you have picked? This was before my time. Where would you have picked
same
him?
for me. I did not join the. I joined the industry like a year.
This is I was way after this.
This is a bit after me. So this was like when I just started watching football, really.
See, I've been playing fantasy football for a long time, but this was like still in the era.
I think this is my 4th year playing fantasy football.
Oh yeah, so you're a lot newer.
Yeah.
This was in the era where I started looking at fantasy football in August. Like and then checked out and then came back. I didn't really start following.
I don't know. I can't
around until like 2017.
I can't really answer this question. I really don't know.
The first rookie draft where I did like rookie drafts was 2019, and then the first rookie draft I did content was 2020. But I still, I had some idea of what I would have done in 2019. 2016 is way before my time, so I don't know. But I mean, if you drafted him 105, I think it's fine. His career's fine.
Yeah, something like that would be okay. Yeah.
I would. On 101, I'd be disappointed.
What would it take to get from the 103 to the 101 in a 14-seamer? That's really interesting.
Your firstborn child, is that available?
Yeah, I mean, probably more than that. I think you'd have to give up 2 children at that point.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, a child per pick, man.
I mean, you have 2 siblings, right?
I do. I'd give them up from the 103 for the 101.
Oh my God.
No, I wouldn't. Okay. I love my brothers.
We're gonna show them that clip.
to the
So
101.
that's what we're gonna do.
Oh
We're
yeah,
gonna
I'm
show.
showing them that clip.
We're gonna show them that clip saying that you would
Yeah.
trade your brothers for the.
They're like, I'm in my bedroom right now recording this. Like, they're literally like right out that door.
So they probably.
I
heard
can
that.
hear one of them. They might have heard it.
Great, great.
They might have.
Well,
what actual pick would it be? I think I'm thinking about like a.
It's gonna be another first. I mean, that's
It's probably another
cost.
first. It'd be super late first though. I don't think I'd pay more than a super late first.
Well, then you're not gonna get it.
But I might not get it because I mean,
you're not gonna get it.
No one's trading away the 101. Like that's
nobody's trading away the 101. Bijan Robinson is worth.
Bijan Robinson's worth everything at this point.
Everything, yeah. So
he might already like because at this point, like if you're guaranteed the 101, I don't know if I'd rather have any running back in Dynasty besides the 2023 101.
If I told you you could have Bijan Robinson in every one of your Dynasty leagues, what would you like? What would you do to make that happen?
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything. That would be awesome.
Smash that like button. Yeah. No, hit the like button.
Do it. Go for it.
Yeah. No, do it. Traded P Ryan to the Mixon owner for a late second. How did I do? Excellent. I'll give you an A+.
Great. That's great.
P Ryan's not even worth a fourth, so do a good job.
No.
Yeah, probably cost more than that, Ed. To be honest.
Yeah, I think that's around the max I'd be willing to pay. I feel like
I'm not gonna get it though.
I don't think I'm gonna get it though. That's the problem. Yeah. If I don't have the 101 in my league,
you're not gonna get it
at that point. Yeah.
Huh. Do you use metrics other than yards, touchdowns, fantasy points scored when evaluating players? How much weight do you give things like yards per route run, targets per route run, air yard share, route participation, whooper, whatever that is? Whoop, what went? Some nonsense, whatever that last thing is.
I'm trying to think
I don't know what that means.
I'm sorry, Jacob. I'm blanking.
Well, I'm not sorry because I readily admit that this is not. Occasionally I'll dive into these more detailed things, but usually I find oftentimes that they don't help you. They actually overcomplicate things. Sometimes it really is that simple.
Sometimes it is. Yeah.
Yes, obviously I use things other than yards, touchdowns, and fantasy points scored. There are other things, especially when evaluating quarterbacks. I do often care about one thing. I often care about is how target share. I care about
target share,
target share,
yeah, target share, and like because the big thing I was always talking about because like earlier in the season when Darnell Mooney started off really slow, I started talking about him as a bit of a buy low. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. It started to look good because he had a couple good games, then it flattened out. Failed because of his injury, but I was talking about it because his targets weren't there, but the target share was. If the pass attempts were just go up and that target share continues, the target numbers are going to increase. And the Bears at that point were at they were on pace to hit like an all-time low NFL pass attempt number. Like they were passing the ball so few times, and I was just talking about positive regression. That number is going to have to go up, and if the target share remains for Darnell Mooney, the target numbers are going to increase. And that's what started to happen. We saw a couple games before his injury where he actually started to get real targets and started to produce real fantasy points. And then unfortunately got hurt. And we didn't really get to see the full-time rest of the season for him. But yeah, target share is a big one that I don't think it wasn't written here, right?
No.
But yeah, but like Tyler said, sometimes keeping it simple is really just the best thing. These advanced metrics, while sometimes they're fun to throw out, at the same time, sometimes they don't actually help you.
Also, nobody watching, they don't care. And that's probably not true. I mean, this is on DLF, but
yeah,
I really feel like nobody.
Really care.
It depends. Again, maybe I'm wrong about that. The people watching me don't want to hear me talk about that. I know that they want. I know what they want. I'm not giving it to them today. Really, I haven't given it to them. I know what they want. What they want is more of where is it? Where is it? This is what they want. They just want me to scream failure, failure, failure. That's what they want. I mean, I know that. I haven't given them much of it today. And don't worry, it's not going anywhere. um, but yeah, they don't want to hear me talk about advanced metrics. That's that no one wants to hear me do that. I don't think. I mean, Peter Howard does that all the time. Like, listen to him. He actually knows what he's talking
All right.
about that kind of stuff. You want to listen to me make it up? I mean, sure, but I don't think so. Follow up. Is it worth trading to 2 late seconds for an early second based on past year's experience?
Yeah, last year was a great year to do that.
Yeah, last year was a good year to do that.
Last year was a great, unless you were getting Dameon Pierce in the late second. Because he's kind of worked out. But
has it?
But yeah.
It's starting not to work out so much.
Last few weeks, I will call it out. The last few weeks have been very disappointing for
Where's
Dameon
Addison
Pierce.
when I need him?
Yeah, he's been he's been a very disappointing player to have in the past few weeks. He's been pretty frustrating. It's just like it's slowly gotten worse all year. But we can move on. 2 late seconds for an early second based on last year's pass. I think that'd be worth it. Like if you're getting like a top 3 pick in the second round, and I think that's worth it. Yeah, if you're getting like a top 15 pick.
Yeah,
I'd be willing to do that. That's a good move to make.
10-team Superflex top 3 contender. Worried about Dameon Pierce as my RB2 for the title run.
Yeah,
want to add Nuke to upgrade. Should I target CMC or Aaron Jones? Well, not Aaron Jones. CMC.
Well, Chris McCaffrey's hurt.
How hurt though?
He's dealing with a knee irritation, and he's monitored. I haven't seen any practice reports though. Yeah, I haven't seen any practice reports on him, so I would think he plays. It doesn't seem like it's that serious. Like a knee irritation doesn't sound very serious, but I mean, it's Christian McCaffrey. We've seen non-serious injuries hurt him a little bit, but yeah, I don't. This is really, really interesting. Is there any other running backs you'd rather target than CMC or Aaron Jones that you think you could get with DeAndre Hopkins and Dameon Pierce?
No. CMC would be a good name that I would consider.
Yeah, I think that'd be a solid name to target. I'm just trying to think of other. Ooh, Josh Jacobs would be an interesting one. I don't know if you can get him for that though. The past few weeks have been, especially last week, was dominant. Like he had like a weird stretch.
It's crazy. That's where we are, right? Josh Jacobs is more than Christian McCaffrey now. Apparently,
potentially, yeah. I mean, like it was weird. Like, I mean, Josh Jacobs has been one of the most hated fantasy players this past offseason. Like everybody hated Josh Jacobs, and all of a sudden he's blown up this year. Yeah, same here. I did not love Josh Jacobs. I was very anti Josh Jacobs heading into this year, and man, has he proven everybody wrong. It's just weird though, because like week 9 and 10, I think it was, he had a weird stretch where he just wasn't very good in those 2 weeks, and it actually looked really concerning. And last 3 weeks, he rattled off like RB6, RB7, RB1. Like he's been dominant again. It was weird. It's been weird, but yeah, I think Josh Jacobs would be a good target. Christian McCaffrey, monitor his injury status. Obviously, if he's looking more serious, then don't do that. But GMC and Josh Jacobs are 2 good names to look after.
12-team Superflex, Dynasty half PPR. Give Zach Wilson and 223 firsts for Deshaun Watson. Oh man, great! My favorite kind of question.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
7th to 12th. So wait, I'm assuming both are 7th to 12th.
Yeah.
Both are in the late. Both are in the late first range. Yeah. At that point,
it's not
as much as I hate to say it, as much as because obviously, look, I could be wrong. I know I could be wrong with Deshaun Watson. He could come out and blow up. I'm not saying that is guaranteed that he's not going to be good. If I had to bet money, I would bet.
Well, when you make predictions in life, there's always a possibility of being wrong.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Something that a lot of fantasy analysts these days don't like to consider.
Especially since one side is Zach Wilson, I would want to take. As much as I hate to say it, I would take Deshaun Watson just barely, because those 2 firsts are late. So to Superflex, you're not going to get any worthy quarterback replacements. Like you're not going to get anybody worthy of it. So you're left with Zach Wilson and like 2 late firsts that are going to be like either a wide receiver or a running back that could be great, but not like a quarterback will in a Dynasty Superflex league. So I'll take Deshaun Watson just barely.
Yeah. Also, I am really, I don't know. I forget if I told Touch or just Addison, but I'm feeling really, I don't feel well today at all. Like my voice is pretty dead.
Funny. Like that's funny though. I've never drinking anything on a live stream besides water. I've never had like a soda on like a live stream. It's weird.
Well, I've already gone through a soda and a coffee.
This little mug.
Oh, I always thought that was coffee.
I don't drink coffee. No, it's
How am
always
I?
water.
How am I supposed to know that? What am I, psychic? I'm supposed to know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you're supposed to know that, but yeah, it's always just been water. I don't drink coffee. I think it's gross.
It's very tasty. It's my favorite thing.
No. Good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes,
You'll get there
definitely.
one day. You'll get there one day. You know, when
Probably one day.
when I was your age, I didn't want coffee either. Is Jordan Love worth the rest of my fab and Superflex to start stash for next year on a rebuild? Yes, I'd spend everything.
Yeah,
Without
definitely.
doubt. Yeah, without a doubt.
Without, yeah.
No
100%.
consideration. But if you'd been listening to me, he wouldn't be on waivers. He wouldn't be on waivers.
Yeah,
I've been talking about adding him.
I've been
talking about adding him all year. So
yeah, why is he in a waiver wire? I don't think he should ever be in a waiver wire in a nice league.
I've been talking about this for months. So if he's still on waivers, that's certainly not my fault.
Yeah, do you think that he could be the starter next year? Do you think like Aaron Rodgers could go next year?
Yes.
That's a very real possibility.
Yeah, it's a very real possibility. So I don't.
It'd be funny to see the Broncos trade for him.
That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
But you missed my whole rant about Russell. Well, you missed a couple rants yesterday. I was good yesterday. My rant about the Packers was very lengthy. It went on for 8 minutes, almost uninterrupted.
I can only imagine.
Well, I said that Brian Gutekunst should win the worst. I made a new award for him, worst executive of the year. And we took a look at his record. His record as a general manager. It's not so good. Very bad record as a general manager. And I think he should win the worst executive of the year. He's in good contention for that award. And then I also said that Matt LaFleur should be fired. That was another hot take that I had. Ooh, well, I don't think it's actually that hot because he's been very incompetent this year. Very, very incompetent. And
hasn't been a good
and I also said that Russell Wilson should be ashamed of himself. That's another thing that I said yesterday that I still stand by that. Yeah. Olamide Zacchaeus has arrived. Oh, that's where we are, isn't it?
Yeah, no, he comes out a couple weeks a year, then disappears the rest. I don't think he's actually here.
Yeah, I'm not having.
Watch him next week get like 1 catch for 2 yards.
Yeah, I'm not.
Wouldn't be shocked.
Olamide Zacchaeus.
Nope, not at all.
Should I start Jalen Hurts versus Tennessee with AJ Brown stack or Patrick Mahomes with Kelsey versus Cincinnati?
I'm assuming this is like a DraftKings
no question. This starts at regular. I'll go with Jalen Hurts.
Oh, okay. I understand. Okay. Oh, so you have Jalen Hurts and AJ. Okay. Yeah, I would play. Oh, I think that Cincy Bengals. I mean, the Bengals Chiefs game could be very high scoring. Like that could be a game that gets up there in points, be very competitive, and that could cause Mahomes to have like a 353-yard touchdown, 3-touchdown kind of a game. But that Tennessee defense is so weak against the pass. AJ Brown's set to dominate. I think I would play Jalen Hurts, but I think both of those options are unbelievable this week.
They're my quarterback 1 and 2 on the week.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah. Derrick Henry versus Philly or Nick Chubb versus Houston?
Oh my goodness. You have to start one of these players and bench one?
How can you not start both? I have Chubb at 4 and Henry at 6, but do what you want to do.
Yeah, I would start. I mean, Chubb is the better matchup, and they're both studs, but one of them has a better matchup, so I'll just go with Chubb. But I mean, if you could start both. I don't know why you're trying to bench one.
Yeah. Kirk versus Detroit or Cooper versus Houston? I'll take Amari. I have Amari at wide receiver 8 this week. Kirk at 18.
Yeah, I think I'd slightly favor Amari Cooper, but that's a close one because that Jaguars, Lions, 2 poor defenses, 2 solid offenses. That should be a higher scoring game. That should be competitive. And those are games where Christian Kirk should thrive. And Detroit isn't no one on Detroit's passing defense is pretty elite. So Christian Kirk should have a fun time out there. But yeah, I would slightly favor Amari Cooper. I'm just scared. I'm a little bit scared of Amari Cooper because I feel like the Browns could just take the run approach. And also it's his first game with Deshaun Watson. So that's
Houston is actually a weird matchup.
Houston is a bit because Houston Houston, the thing is, it's not that their passing defense is good, because when you look at their like allow fantasy points allowed to quarterbacks, it's actually they're actually one of the better teams in the league at allowing fantasy points to quarterback. It's just they allow like some of the least attempts to quarterbacks, like passing attempts. Like they just don't allow quarterbacks to pass because you're running on them. They lose and you're running on them all game. Like they just don't allow quarterbacks to go out there and score. It's not that they're good defense. It's just that teams decide to run on them instead, which is smart because it's just you're leading. It's the safe thing to do, and you can do it all game. So I would start Amari Cooper here actually, but it's very, very close for me.
Yeah. DeAndre Swift versus Jacksonville or Gibson versus the Giants? It's Swift, but ugh, gross.
Yeah, it's Swift with no confidence.
It's Deshaun Watson. It's Deshaun Watson easily. I have Deshaun Watson at quarterback 8. I have Mike White at quarterback 8, so it's not.
As much as I don't want to start Deshaun Watson this week, I don't think you can start him over Mike White. We saw Mike White last year. Remember last year we went like 37 of 45 for 300 something yards for like 3 touchdowns.
Not that old. It was only last year. I remember it.
It was last year. He went nuclear, right? The next game he got hurt, right? He got hurt mid-game, and then he came back again the week after. He threw 4 interceptions in that game and looked awful. I think Minnesota now has a full game of film on him. They're going to be able to find his strategies, and I think they're going to beat him down. Oh, additionally, there was a long pass to Garrett Wilson in that game. I don't think that would have been a touchdown if their safety Eddie Jackson didn't blow out his foot on that play. That wasn't a touchdown if Eddie Jackson didn't blow out his foot on that play. Eddie Jackson had Garrett Wilson if he didn't get hurt on that play. Yeah. So I don't think that would have been a touchdown there. But yeah, I would start Deshaun Watson grudgingly.
Aw.
Thank you.
Can't pick up Bam Knight anywhere because he's already on my roster. May the waiver wire odds be in your favor. I did cut a short video, which I can put the link to that, about Bam Knight on my own channel about that. Yes, I would recommend picking him up. I'm surprised you have him already, though, because I didn't.
Yeah, he wasn't really relevant at all. It was interesting.
I guess if you'd added him in the moment where Robinson was ruled a healthy scratch, you might have snuck him on. Here. There's the link.
Boom.
Yeah. Let's see. Ooh, I talked about this
Josh
yesterday.
Jacobs. I would say Josh Jacobs. Oh, you did?
I talked the second part of it.
Okay, gotcha.
Jacob's not going to like my answer. He's really not going to like my answer. Because my answer was that it was not listening to anyone else and just doing everything myself was the answer. But we were talking about something a little different. We were talking about actually the opposite of this. Players who I was betting on a bounce back. Like Brian Edwards was the example I used, where a lot of what I was thinking was other people said Brian Edwards should be good, and I was kind of got swept away in their idea of that, and that led me astray. So my solution was to just do everything myself and not listen to anyone else. That was how I thought I would and I've been better this year, significantly better with advice. So yeah, unfortunately, I think that's what I've learned. So I do not think that's the answer you wanted to hear, but that's the real answer.
Yeah, like you can't do it all yourself. That's what you're saying, right?
No, that's the opposite of what I'm saying. That's the opposite of what I'm saying is that I've decided that I actually let other people's opinions influence me too much. And now I am doing it all myself. I am doing it all myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm not listening. I really don't listen to any. Well, one thing I don't listen to is I don't let other fantasy analysts inform my opinion and my takes. I want the takes to be from me, because if they're from me and I own it, then it's, you ride or die on your own stuff. But
absolutely.
I definitely have let those outside voices influence me less and less every year. And I think we have now reached an all-time low where the only thing that really influences anything I do is in my own spreadsheets and my own brain. Very rare
Yeah,
that
I think
anything
that
outside invades the thought process.
I think that could definitely work to a degree. There's obviously like a certain amount of other people's advice you have to take in, but I think at the same time, it is smart. Like if you're, I mean, this is more like for I think this might be more for fantasy football players out there. Is take like less than analysts, taking in a ton of different perspectives. Because if you look in your only perspective at how things are going to work, you're going to go like this. You're going to be looking like in a shooter game where you're like you don't have peripheral vision. You're like stuck in your own box a little bit. If you have other perspectives coming in, you see other statistics that you've never seen before brought up by other analysts, you get a more broader and a better, more detailed view of a fantasy football player, of like a,
well,
and by
that's
fantasy
why
football,
I think people should listen to multiple analysts, to do
yeah,
that.
that's what I was saying. That's exactly what I'm
But
saying. And I think for analysts, it also could work because sometimes you just don't see things a certain way, and sometimes a different analyst could open your eyes a little bit more. I'm not saying you should like just take everyone else's takes and make them your own and just say because he said it, like, but just like I feel like opening your mind up a little bit to other people and what their perspectives are could help you a little bit.
I would rather just do it myself, and then if I get it wrong, I can just be like, I got it wrong. How do I improve? Because I do think like trying to do it that way, where like I've made this mistake too many times, is like letting the Twitter or wherever it's coming from, like the wave of opinion push me. And I really am trying to not let it happen again. Because that's the mistake I've made the most times, is being talked out of, talked out of the right answer by the mob. So that's just my opinion. Yes, Hutch has great insight. I don't think anyone was hating though. The Bills let Singletary walk next year and elevate James Cook to an every down back. Just how good can he be if he progresses in his sophomore season? I mean, James Cook is not going to be an every down back, no matter whether they let Singletary walk or not.
Yeah, I just don't see that really ever happening to him. Like I don't know. I just based on what he's done so far. I mean, he's 5'11", 190. Looking at his size real quickly, he's 5'11", 190. Like he's just, I don't think that's just not built to be a 3-down back in the NFL anymore. I just don't think at 5'11", 190 he can do that. James Cook, right? I mean,
I never thought he could.
That's just, yeah, I never thought he could in the first place. But when you like that just immediately rules it out for me. 5'11", 190 in the NFL, you're not going to get a 3-down roll. Like it's just that simple. You can't handle it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Would you rather have Swift or Rachaad White rest of the season? White. Easily.
Man. Yeah, I think I'd have White.
It's not even close.
Yeah. I don't think it's very close either. I can't believe we're saying that, but yeah, it's not. Rachaad White is now the lead back for the Buccaneers. Swift is still the second back on the Detroit Lions, and Jamal Williams getting all the red zone work. So Rachaad White.
Oh, question for Hutch.
Ooh, okay.
Would you start the Tennessee defense for 2,200 on DraftKings, or stick with Baltimore versus Denver for 4,000?
So, I mean, if you only had these two options, because for me, when I look at defense on DraftKings, it really doesn't matter to me. I'm taking a crapshoot. Honestly, defenses are all over the place, and I'd rather not spend high on defenses personally, because it's usually like some of them is when you spend, like I've noticed, like I've played DFS a lot. Me and my dad, we do a DFS showdown where each of us make a lineup and we compete against one another head to head. I've noticed a couple times I've taken a shot at a high price defense and it usually just doesn't work out. And I look back down, some of the lower price defense actually panned out well. So here's the thing. If you're stuck between these two options, I would take Tennessee, even though I think Philly is going to crush them a little bit. I would still take Tennessee. I think that their defensive line is stacked, and I feel like there could be a couple sacks. I feel like their run game is going to be a bit stuffed. I still think A.J. Brown's going to have a big game, but I still think Tennessee could make some points there. But if you're not stuck between these two options, you're looking just anywhere. I really like the Commanders' defense this week, playing against the New York Giants. The Commanders over the past 3 weeks have been really, really good. They haven't allowed more than 21 points in any of their past 3 games. They have had stacked up 4 interceptions in that time. They've scored 2 touchdowns in that time. Like they've actually like started to really, really play well. And they play the Giants this week. We know Daniel Jones can be a bit messy if he's under pressure. This receiving core is nothing. The only player on this team that is really, really great on offense for the Giants is Saquon Barkley. If they find a way to limit him and get Daniel Jones to be a little bit messy, they're going to have a heck of a game on defense. Washington Commanders, I believe right now, if my memory's serving me right, I think they're 3,300 on DraftKings. They're right around that 3,000 range. So if you're not just limited to those 2 options, I like the Commanders a lot. But if it's just these 2, I'm just cheaping out on the Tennessee defense, spending up elsewhere where it matters more.
Yeah. AJ Brown or Godwin?
AJ Brown.
What if
as much as I want, I just said start Tennessee defense, but AJ Brown is going to crush it this week.
Yeah.
He's going to explode.
Thoughts on Deontay Foreman going forward?
I mean, I think
it's hard to trust him.
I think he's fine as like a low RB2 moving forward.
It's hard to trust him.
But it is difficult to trust, and that offense is not good. Offense is bad.
This is possible, Ed, but what if they are like draft a much better running back than Singletary?
Yeah, they have. I mean, like
they have the ability.
What other position would they look to draft? Like, what other position is a need right now for the Buffalo Bills? Like, they're so built at every position. Like, they don't really need anywhere to build anywhere. So they're probably gonna be looking at running back. So it'd be a tough world to see Singletary walk. What are you laughing at?
We'll get to it.
Okay.
Well, this wasn't what I was laughing at, but welcome, Hutch. Don't know much about you. What would you say your strongest aspect of Dynasty player is? Rookie evaluation, drafting, trading, team building? You can answer this however you want.
It's definitely not rookie evaluation. That is definitely not my strength. I'm definitely not the best at analyzing rookies. And I do like prospects every year. I do like watch film, and I'm still learning with that. I've definitely done that for the last couple of years, still learning with it, still trying on, new things. And it hasn't always been great, but there have been some things I've hit on. I remember writing an article for DLF highlighting Dameon Pierce as one of the best picks, and looked great, but it's starting to look a little bit off now. But at least he started off, at least he looked great, at least he's shown the talent. But if you're looking at like what's my strength, I think I would talk about trading. I really do love analyzing dynasty trades, looking at trading and looking at team situations and how teams are building and what trade targets to go after. So I think like trading / team building would be where I'm at there.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think that you're going to bring a youthful energy to the show to complement the old man that I am. My older years, I have.
You're not that old, Tyler.
But compared to you, I'm like an ancient.
Compared to me, I mean, everyone's older compared to me in this industry.
I'm one of the ancient 7 wonders of the world. Well, we don't really need to get into how bad I can really be. Sometimes I can be a disaster. We should get the Coop on the show.
Oh, I see the comment.
Talk about my old days. How I've really.
I see the comment. I think you laughed at Jacob. Tyler. Jacob's comment right there.
Yeah.
Yes, I do not gamble. I do not gamble on sports. I promise that. I just play with my dad. I don't
allegedly.
Gamble. I don't. Yeah.
Kittle versus Miami or Hawk versus the Jets. It's Hawk. I have Hawk higher.
Hawkinson. He's just on. I'm so glad the Minnesota Vikings picked him up and actually started to use him like he should be used. Like it's finally happening. I'm really glad that.
I know. I really like TJ Hawkinson, so I'm happy.
He's such a great player. He's such a great athletic tight end, and the Vikings are finally using him like he truly should be used, and I'm so happy for him. So yes, keep playing him.
I love this. Who's Kyle? Cal, but whatever.
Yeah, I think probably Cal.
I will say, Tyler is the current for now. Yeah. I'm not going anywhere, but I have weeks where I'm, still the same excited Tyler. And I definitely have weeks where I'm, I will say, like, not, you know, the viewership on this show has been, very low the last few weeks. I don't base my self-worth on that. I don't really give a fuck anymore. Like, I like doing the show. It's fun for me. But, you know, I would be open to changing the format of the show because it does not seem that people like, at least the audience is telling me, is not liking something lately. I do think it's the lack of Addison, to be honest. So I need to, like, the show time is probably moving earlier. There's a couple of things, but like, I'm definitely open to changing things. That's why I'm planning on having some guests, try to spice up the show a little bit because I do feel like I'm getting stale on here in a way that I'm not on my own channel. And I don't know why, but I'm going to work on that. Because I do feel like the like spark and excitement, I don't hit the notes on here to the same degree. So I don't know how to fix that, but I'm going to work on that and try to be better. Like more entertaining. I feel like I don't nail it on here like I do on my show. Go back and watch my YouTube show from yesterday. You'll see there's more energy. For some reason I just struggle. I do think Josh will help. A lot of my good moments were arguing with him on yesterday's show. And I am excited to bring him on as a co-host full time on here. I do think that'll help, but I also think that bringing in some additional voices to I think the more I talk, oftentimes when it's not me ranting, it's the worse the show is. Is Donovan Knight an RB1 rest of season? No, he's not.
No,
rest of season.
No.
Yeah, I would say no. Of course not.
Yeah.
If building for 2023, would you rather have Deontay or Ramondre?
Ooh.
Also, which side? 1 QB PPR. Deontay in 112 or Ramondre in 212? Okay, so I would rather have Ramondre.
Wow.
But what about the trade? Is the
Ramondre in 2023, right?
Yeah.
You're saying Ramondre in 2023? Yes, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't really change my answer in this case.
Yeah. Well, who would you rather have in the trade? Dynasty trade. I think
Ramondre. I don't want Deontay.
Yeah, Ramondre. I think I take Ramondre. I'm really scared of Deontay. I mean, obviously because of Kenny Pickett, what he truly is, we don't really know yet. I mean, in a second year, he could take a big step forward. We have seen some nice flashes from him so far this year. I think he could be a serviceable NFL quarterback. However, I'm so nervous about George Pickens. George Pickens he has showed flashes of being like a top 5, top 10 NFL wide receiver. He has shown flashes where he could be at that level after his second season. Like he has just shown unbelievable talent. I've been very in on him ever since the draft season. I've been all in on George Pickens. I've loved this kid, and I'm really scared of him for Deontay Johnson. I think he could be the number 1 receiver in 2023.
Yeah. Well,
I really do believe that
the number 1 receiver right now.
You could argue that, yeah.
Had him ranked higher. Ranked higher for this week for start sit. So that's how I.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, I mean, it's just George Pickens has the better opportunity to make a bigger play.
The second trade though? What about this trade? Deontay in 112 or Ramondre in 212? Is that enough to change it, or no? It's close. I would
close,
probably lean toward
no.
Deontay in 112. No, it's close enough.
Yeah, because
I think 112 is going to be valuable and 212 not really.
112 is going to be valuable. 212 is 212.
I think this is a very deep class. I think there's going to be a lot of good players. It's obviously Bijan is at the top, but I think there's going to be a lot of good players. I think the 112 this year is going to be a lot better than the 112 was last year.
Yeah, the 112 last year was almost like a crapshoot.
Yeah, whereas I don't think the 212 is going to be any better.
No, it's not. So I
think the point. I noticed a trend. Yeah, I have noticed this, but I'm all for it.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah, I mean, Dynasty, the best thing to do is build on stud wide receiver cores. That is the best thing to do with Dynasty when your team
quarterback and Superflex.
Oh, quarterback and super flex,
Yeah, it's
yes.
better,
Quarterbacks and super flex. But when you're looking at specifically wide receivers or running backs, you want to build on strong wide receivers
absolutely.
because number one, their careers are
Way longer.
double, if not triple the length,
Yeah.
like of a running backs. And there's less injury risk. I mean, you want to say every player gets injured. Yeah. Wide receivers get injured less than running backs. Running back is a brutal position to play in the NFL, and it tears down on your body. So wide receivers last longer, they get hurt less. And the future of the NFL is not in the run game. There aren't any stud workhorse running backs anymore. Those are very rare to come out. And Bijan Robinson is going to change that. But there are very few workhorse backs in the NFL anymore. When you go back like 10, 15 years, workhorse running backs were all over the place. There are very few now. And the NFL is starting to build on passing games and getting that top quarterback, getting those top wide receivers. That's why you've seen a ton of free agent deals this past offseason. Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams getting massive contracts because the teams are favoring wide receivers. They're favoring the passing attack. And that's just the future of the NFL. So building on those stud wide receiver cores, very important. Running back is a very fluid position. You can build it as you go along, really. I hate to say it because there are running backs in the NFL that I love. I mean, I have a Derrick Henry signed jersey behind me. Like, I love Derrick Henry, and I love other running backs in the NFL, but the position's just so fluid, and guys can fill in guys can fill in.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. Long-term Swifter Jacobs, and why is it Jacobs? I mean, it's Jacobs, but
It is, man.
Explain why it's Jacobs, right?
It is. It's oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm saying that. The thing is though, Jacob still has a deal to get. He still has to get a deal, right? I mean, he's gonna have to get a.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to get a contract.
They declined the 5th-year option.
Yeah, he's gonna have to get a contract this offseason, or else he's gonna be moving on. But I think they'll re-sign him after this year. I mean, they'll be forced to. I mean, he's had too good of a season.
He's worth spending the franchise tag on.
Yeah, I think they'll give him a deal though.
I think they'd rather work out a deal, but I don't think they'll just let him go. He's been too good.
No, they're not going to let him go. He's been he's been too good. He's played like watching him against Seattle last week. I went back and watched a lot of his game. Like, he was so physically dominant compared to any other player on the field. It was ridiculous. Like, it was just so ridiculous to watch him play. Like, he's just been so dominant this year. It's been absolutely insane. But yeah, to answer this question, it's Jacobs, but I can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Give 223 firsts, a 24 first, and Debo, get Jamar Chase and Hawk. This is a lot. No, this is still way too much. Debo and Hawk are pretty equal.
Yeah,
this is less bad. I mean,
this year.
This is less bad. But
yeah, this is really interesting. I think because it's the tight end premium. I think, oh man, that's really really hard.
Yeah.
Where are you at, Ty? I think this is. I'm not like dramatically favoring either side. If I had to pick one because of the tight end premium, because of what Hogginson has shown us so far this year, I think I slightly favor Chase and Hawk. And he also, this person also said they need a tight end, so that if it helps your team with that tight end slot, then even better. So I'd slightly favor Chase and Hawk here if you're really going for that championship this year, I guess, because you're giving up all your picks.
Yeah. All right. We did this one already. Do I drop a Breida for Hasty or Zonovan Knight? I'll take. The Rams have Henderson, who I think they're going to get more involved. I think I would take Zonovan Knight just in case. Breida.
I would as well. Yeah, because I think that you can I feel like ETN has the possibility to come back this week, while I don't know if I see that for Carter. I think Zonovan Knight's the lead back next week. You can't say that about Hasty.
No. Yeah, I agree with Ed. Who do you have winning this trade? Kamara and Waddle for ETN and Amon-Ra. I will take ETN and Amon-Ra.
Yeah, I will too. Amon-Ra is such a stud. I feel like the difference between Kamara and ETN is much bigger than the difference between Waddle and Amon-Ra. So
yeah,
ETN and Amon-Ra.
Huh. Yeah.
This
I
is from
mean,
earlier.
I gotta tell you, like, I, if there aren't that, like, we're gonna get to all the questions. Like, we're not gonna have any trouble getting to all of them. So that's probably why I'm taking longer. Is there's less, less people watching, less questions. Like, I'm taking longer. But yeah, it is what it is. I can try to go faster,
All right, let's go.
which we're probably
Let's
about
do
to do.
this.
I'm glad that there's still one Browns fan left with us. Thank you, Henry. I think if Watson struggles this season, he could be a buy this offseason. Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry I haven't been able to make it the last couple of weeks.
I have the
Madison.
next actual question here.
Yeah,
do you want me to put it up?
in a second?
Because there's a bunch of like other comments from other questions in the for a while.
I'll get to that in a second. I would just say that I appreciate Addison.
Yeah, thank you, Addison.
And I will try to continue to make this what Addison is saying the best chat and show on Fantasy Football YouTube. Yeah, well, I'll see if I can. I'll do my best with that. But it's not the same without Addison. And I will. If you can't tell, I'm devastated that Addison isn't going to be here anymore. Like, devastated. And this isn't me, like, please. This is not my way of, he's doing the right thing for himself by leaving the show. Like, trust me, I know. Like, we've talked about it. He's doing the right thing by leaving the show. I'm not trying to convince him to stay, and I know that. But I'm struggling to do this show without Addison, and I'll hopefully I can, try to come up with a better format, try to come up with something, but it's been rough the last couple of weeks. I have had a rough time doing the show. Love Addison. Yeah, I love Addison too. If that's not beyond obvious at this point.
The next comments are all things we've already talked about. Like, do you want to go to the next question?
Well, thank you for liking the failure. Oh, I just blew out my mic. Failure.
Yeah.
There you go. You happy? I did it for the people. Always, yeah. Okay, we do get the answers. Yeah, there's a lot of.
Yep.
Okay,
there we go.
Question.
This is it. Yeah.
Well,
rental.
I have something to say here. How do you view rental trades, aka Team A trades a player to Team B for someone only for the week? This happened in my league today. Team A got Hollywood Brown and Team B got Tannehill. That's collusion. As a lot of people are saying, that's collusion. You can't do that.
Yeah, that's insane.
Sounds like collusion. Ed says he would not play in a league that allows that. I would look to cash out of that league as soon as you can. Yeah, swap the players back. I mean, this is collusion. This is not allowed. This is unacceptable. Wayne agrees that it's collusion. Rental trades with question mark. What even is that? Punishments. This is collusion, right? I mean, this is rental. You can't do that. You can't rent a player and then trade him back. That's collusion.
Yeah.
Is there anything to add? I mean, I think it's pretty clear cut.
No, it seems like it is.
I would I would use this opportunity to plug the Commission Impossible podcast. I would say they do. It's good to binge it. Ryan and Scott do that one. It's on the podcatcher. It's just something I would listen. They discuss situations like this. That's what the whole podcast is about. So if you're interested in discussing, awesome. Have you ever listened to it?
No, I haven't heard of it actually.
You should. I just heard it really good on a binge. You can. They're evergreen episodes, so you can kind of listen to them over time. I think this is also something that's, this is not listening to the feedback of don't talk about, but I don't care anymore. Something I think is underrated is, even though I don't listen to a lot of the advice I get from these podcasts, I do actually listen to a lot of fantasy content. I enjoy it. It's entertaining, but I listen to it to entertain me. Not because it's going to affect my process or anything. I just find it entertaining. I find you entertaining, like on your podcast. Commission Impossible is one of my favorites, absolute favorites, most entertaining, most enjoyable. There was definitely that whole speech I gave about how, you can go through like a dark period.
I do dabble in some Commission Impossible. I do like them.
The point of the story is, like, that speech I gave at the beginning of like how you can go through a dark time and like content can help you get through it. Commission Impossible was one of those things. I was a period of time where I was like not happy. I was like, I listened to that podcast. It was just something.
Ballers were those people.
Well, they've been that for me for years.
But
I figure I don't have to mention them at this stage. Spitballers more so than their actual show.
I love Spitballers. I love
if you're talking about something like as a mood, because their regular show covers a lot. It's actually mostly analysis. But Spitballers, if you're talking about like a mood changer,
is funny.
I used to use that as the other one alongside Commission Impossible. That's one of the other ones.
All right, but I got the next question pulled up here. The rest, actually, no, I don't. Never mind. I missed that one.
Yeah, this was hidden in all the discussion. It was like,
I was at the next question.
It was it was in there. So we won't miss your question.
We won't miss
Keenan
it.
Allen, Darius Slayton, and 201 or Javonte Williams. I will take Javonte Williams, even with the injury risk.
I would take.
Is a bunch of crap.
I would take Javonte as well.
Yeah, I don't want that. All right. You said you had the.
Yes.
Yeah, the next one.
I believe so.
I always forget you can click on stuff too.
Yes, I can click on stuff. You let me do that.
Did we?
So random question.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
okay.
No.
Random. Do you want me to do it or you to do it?
No, you do it. You do it.
Okay. So random question. I only do redrafts, so don't really know. What is the true value of a round 1 pick or first round pick? I'm assuming it's a rookie pick, whether you know when it is early/late or not. That's interesting.
That is a very big question. Right?
It's a very tough question to answer.
Very big question. This is a strategy question. I will say on my Patreon, I do it. I resisted it, but I put on my sheet of a list of players ranking. I put what a random first is worth in context. I can just, I might as well just tell you. I have, it's pretty high. I have a random first equal to my 29th overall player in 1 QB and 33rd overall in Superflex. Very high.
Yeah, it's high.
But yeah, that's probably the best I can do on a show.
Yeah, it's just, you also got to think about
not normal. That's not normal. In a typical year, I would say it's more of a 4th or 5th round startup value, but this year it's more.
Yeah.
Oh, that was talking about Chergaf.
Oh,
I think this is trying to add Zonovan Knight, and he's not even in there. Fantrax, why don't you fix that? Is my suggestion, if that's really the case. First in my league, Breece Hall is out. Do I trade Treylon Burks, first rounder, for Ramondre Stevenson, Cortland Sutton, and a 3rd rounder? No.
Ooh.
No, you don't.
I don't think I would do that either.
I would take Burks.
Yeah. Burks is looking like a really great option the rest of the season.
Absolutely.
Last 2 weeks have been great.
Rest of season, I'm not so sure, but in Dynasty.
Oh, Dynasty, yes. Rest of season, I'm so confident in him though. He's looked really, really good last couple weeks.
I'm not 100% confident.
Okay. Yeah, I was more sold on him as a prospect coming in, but
yeah. I was not unsold on him. I
was like all in. Like I was
redraft, I think it's a kind of thing where you're going to see a decent performance, but you see the big leap in year 2 to reliable.
Yes, the big leap from wide receivers usually year 2.
But I'm with you. I didn't hate Treylon Burks or anything. I thought he was overrated, but I didn't hate him.
Oh, yeah, I was on the opposite side. I was kind of all in.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't. Garrett Wilson was the one I was all in on, which to be fair, is proving to be a good take.
Oh yeah, Garrett Wilson's great. Yeah. He was awesome.
Yeah, he's been much more consistent over the years.
I think I had Garrett Wilson, George Pickens, and Treylon Burks as my first 3 wide receivers in the class.
Well, I definitely did not.
I think those 3 guys were my first 3 of the class.
Rebuilding, trade away Walker for London Mechie and mid-second. It's not enough. Not enough with running backs.
Yeah,
it's not enough. It's just like if you're going to trade away someone like Kenneth Walker, you got to be excited, right? You want to be excited about the return you're getting. Does this excite you? Like, you like this doesn't feel exciting. Like this is not, you're not getting a rush from this. Like, you're going down the street and someone hot walks by you and you're like, get like excited, like that feeling. You don't get that feeling from this.
Yeah. We were talking about earlier in the show, we were talking about how you want to build strong wide receiver cores, right? However, at the same time, since there are so few stud running backs like Kenneth Walker could be, when you have one of those stud running backs, it is extremely advantageous. I mean, that's why a lot of redraft strategies say draft 2 running backs in the first 2 rounds, because if you get one of those stud running backs is very advantageous, and running backs disappear fast. So when you're trading away a big guy like Kenneth Walker, well, arguably the best dynasty running back in fantasy football right now, I mean, I think that's a debate we could have right now. He could be the RB1 in dynasty. He really could be. He really
have
could
him
be.
at 2. I have him at 2, but you could have him at 1.
You could have him 1. There's definitely guys that you would debate around him, but he's definitely up there. So if you're going to trade away a running back like him, that advantageous running back, you don't want to trade him away for scraps, which is kind of what you're doing.
Drake London, I wouldn't call Drake London scraps, but Drake London is not a guarantee. He's been terrible ever since the first.
He is. But yeah, like a bunch of like middle of the pack, not guaranteed options. If you're not trading away that one of those stud running backs for that, then it's just not worth it. So keep Kenneth Walker.
Yeah. What do you really value a first round pick at?
Bijan
Robinson. We talked about that. We talked about that already. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit.
Yes, if you did cut bait during his hot stretch, it was great. It was a great pick.
Say to do that.
Yeah, I was more.
Addison was even louder than me.
It was
weird.
Bit more.
I was the as someone who's a draft capital snob, I seemed like I was pro Dameon Pierce compared to Addison and Cal, who are like two of the most anti Dameon Pierce people I knew. Like I was like,
I liked him a little bit. More when I saw the receiving work. There was a game where the Texans fell behind quick and he got 6 targets, 6 catches. That was when I actually turned on. When it turned the switch for me. When I was like, yes, Dameon Pierce is a legit player. I think he's still a legit player. It just, I'm still worried about the Texans and if they will actually trust him.
I agree that I don't think CMC's that hurt, but we'll see. We'll find out.
Yeah, he's not. He's probably not that hurt.
Well, I wouldn't know because I don't drink beer, so I don't know.
Really? Actually not.
No, I don't drink at all. This never came up.
I don't think
I talk about this all the time. Really? It's never come up. Oh,
I don't think it might have. I just don't remember.
Does the audience know that? Have I talked about?
I didn't know that. I might have. You might have told me. I just don't remember. But I don't. I mean, now that I think about it, you've never.
But it might come up more in my real life. It comes up all the time. But I'm surprised I've never mentioned it on the show. But yeah, no, I don't drink. I mean, I used to. It's not like I've never drank, but I don't drink anymore. I traded Pierce and picks to Cal during that hot stretch for Pickens. George Pickens. That worked out pretty well. Yeah, with AJ Dillon, you just hold him.
Yeah, selling him at this point would be selling at a pretty low cost. You got to hold him and hope it gets better. We at least saw some signs of life last week. He looked pretty good against Philly.
Yeah, I agree. Chug. Yeah, my throat is worn down, to be honest. Hot, you're being criticized.
I understand. Honestly, though, water is like, because when I drink like a soda or anything else besides water, because after like a show, my throat like hurts and I start to lose my voice at some point. So sometimes water is just the most helpful thing. So I don't like drinking like sodas and stuff during a live stream, especially with all the bubbles too on the mic. That's not good.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I do not have ice cubes.
Are you just starting Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence this week?
Oh man,
it's Trevor Lawrence. I have Trevor Lawrence at quarterback 7.
I think I would start Trevor
Lawrence.
I would start Trevor Lawrence as well. He was one of my favorite plays last week, and he really worked out. I even tweeted Christian Kirk and Trevor Lawrence are going to go off this week. One of those worked out, the other one didn't. But
look, I have a league where I have Trevor Lawrence and Lamar Jackson as my QB2, Justin Herbert's QB1. I'm starting Trevor Lawrence over Lamar Jackson. I'm tired of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I would do that as well. Yeah, I played Trevor Lawrence against Detroit this week. That's going to be a high-scoring, competitive game. There should be a lot of offense. Let's start Trevor Lawrence. Yep.
More about your process. How do you avoid buys for your own players? I'm confused what that means.
I think it's like your favorite NFL team. Like for me, I'm an Eagles fan. So
people always think bias against the Giants, not for. So
yeah, so
I've never been. I don't think I've ever been accused of being a Giants homer. I think I've always been accused of being too hard on the Giants.
Yeah, I always try when because I was all in on Jalen Hurts this year. I'm an Eagles fan, for those of you who don't know. All in on Jalen Hurts this year. Like, all in. I mean, he He was my favorite player of the year and worked out big time. But I really I try a lot of times, I try to take a step back, look at all the numbers, look at everything, Jalen Hurts, negative, positive, every single thing, and ask myself, is this actually a good take with a lot of reason, or are you letting your Eagles bias get in front of you? I try not to let my Eagles bias get in front of me, and honestly, I'm a pretty pessimistic Eagles fan anyway, so sometimes it's actually negative towards the Eagles rather than positive. But yeah, you really just gotta, when you're looking about players that from your favorite teams or from your least favorite teams, you just gotta take a step back, look at all the numbers, look at everything around them, and just say and look at. I honestly I didn't do this when I talk about Jalen Hurts, but make a T chart, pros and cons, just write everything out, look at it, and just does my choice right now have reason, or am I letting my bias blind me? You just really got to take a step back, take a minute, and really think about it.
Well, I've never been accused of being biased toward the Giants, so. Yeah. Oh yes.
Yes,
we covered that.
I promise everybody I don't gamble. I would genuinely promise I don't gamble. I don't have any. I don't have anything.
What do we think about this?
Can I roll with Jake Elliott as a kicker? Can I expect the Eagles move the ball? So here's the thing. I actually saw this question earlier, and I was thinking about it for a second because so the Eagles, I think they're gonna have a big game offensively, but at the same time, I think they're gonna struggle a bit on third downs. When you see the Eagles, a lot of third and short situations, they're going to be running the football. They try Jalen Hurts sneaks, or they give it off to Miles Sanders or Kenneth Gainwell. And I feel like against this tough Tennessee defensive line, who there are a lot of big guys back there. I feel like Miles Sanders is going to be stuffed in this game a little bit. And I feel like on a lot of third downs, we're going to see the Eagles come up short, or sometimes even, and if they go 4 and 4, great. If they don't, maybe they'll kick a field goal. So I actually see Elliott getting more than 2+ field goals this week and a bunch of extra points because I think the Eagles are going to score some touchdowns. So I think Jake Elliott as a kicker is a pretty good option this week.
I know nothing about kickers, but I agree with everything you just said. Unfortunately, Ed, it's not true. The viewership on my channel, my show, is up. It's
it's playoffs.
This week was actually
Dynasty playoffs. These are big times.
Yeah, this week was the best show that we've had all year on my own show. So
it's funny though. This is where analysts start to feel the burn of the whole entire season. Well, at least for me, I've started to feel a little bit of that analyst burn.
I feel good. Of all the things I'm doing
after Thanksgiving break was nice.
This show I have felt is, I don't know what has gone. I mean, I do know what's gone wrong. I've lost both of my co-hosts in a 3-week span that I didn't see coming. That's a lot of turmoil. So I do know what's wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I wish I could blame it on that, but I can't, unfortunately, because my show on my own channel is doing just fine, actually.
Yeah.
And I thought I've had some. I thought this week, just yesterday,
I know
was the best show I've done. Was one of the best shows I've done all year. So it isn't me, as a person. I still have it, but I don't know what is going on. Why I just can never get in the right headspace. It's been a struggle, and nobody cares and nobody wants to hear about it. But whatever, people. I appreciate everyone in the chat who's been supportive. I know that I appreciate all the support. I know that, this isn't the best entertainment and all of that, but, at the end of the day, I'm me, this is the person I am.
Yes.
This is the kind of thing that I don't mind talking about on a live show. It's the kind of thing I do talk about. It's the person I am. I can't pretend to be a different person. Sometimes I wish I could, and this is probably one of those days where I wish I could the most, but I just can't do it because then I wouldn't be authentic and I'd feel icky. From Eric, who is one of Ask DLF Jr.'s father. You know about Ask DLF Jr., right?
I think I do. Yes, I've heard that name being thrown around.
Cal met Ask DLF Jr. It's Eric's baby.
Yeah.
Very, very adorable. Any recent trades you've offered that have gotten declined and turned out to be a huge blessing in disguise? Mine has been every single Justin Fields offer early in season. That's a great example.
I'll take. So mine was I offered. So I'm in I'm in a rebuildish dynasty team. I have my first round pick, and it's pretty early. This was early in the offseason. Like this was, or actually, no, I mean, like, I think this was around like July-ish. I offered my first, which was going to be like, which is looking right now like a top 3 pick. I offered it for Zach Wilson in a league. And
Oh boy.
it got declined. So
Well, I'm
I
glad
was,
that didn't go through.
yes, I'm glad it didn't go through. Honestly, like I wasn't like crazy into Zach Wilson this year. I really wasn't. I genuinely wasn't. But in that league, I thought I could use a lot of quarterback depth. And I thought that maybe Zach Wilson, I don't have him in any of my dynasty leagues. Maybe I take a shot at him somewhere. And I almost traded a first from him, but it got declined. So thank God.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to find something that I did.
Yeah, I haven't like it's tough though. I feel so bad in some of my leagues because I've joined way too many, so I haven't been as committed like with trades and stuff in some of my leagues. So it's like I feel so bad sometimes. I'm just in so many, and it's just like it's so impossible to manage for me. Like I just have way too much going on between school and all the content I remake.
Yeah.
Like I just can't I can't 100% focus on all my leagues. And sometimes I feel like it affects my performance in my face league because sometimes I miss lineups. Sometimes I miss waiver wire pickups. Like sometimes I miss that in some of my leagues. And
I
it
tried to
unfortunately has killed
offer.
me.
I tried to offer 2 first-round picks for Brees Hall.
Ooh. Well, I mean,
It
like,
could have been worse. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he got injured. That's not really like a. I mean, it definitely is a blessing in disguise because that would have sucked if you traded for him. He got hurt, but it's different than the one with Zach Wilson where he's just not talented at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say on Twitter, that's been the best. Last 2 weeks have been the most interaction I've gotten, not the least. So I don't know.
I've gotten a ton of interaction on Twitter lately.
No, like just I will be honest with the people is
Yeah.
that everywhere except this show, I've been doing better the last couple of weeks, not worse. So it is this. I don't know if it's me or something, but it is this specifically.
Yeah, I've
'Cause
noticed a few extra listeners.
it's not carrying over to my other content on Twitter, Patreon, anywhere else.
Yeah, I've noticed a
So
lot more DMs from me. I've noticed a lot more Twitter DMs on my account. Like I've gotten a lot
yeah,
more
no, I
DMs
think
asking
it's been more
questions,
active.
things like that. And I've additionally noticed a couple more listeners on my podcast the last couple weeks. Additionally more noticed that.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
it's
I
playoff
have
time. It's
too.
crunch time. These are the weeks where you got to lock in and make that run for your playoffs.
Yeah. Does the show continue in the off season? Well, it's been going on for a year and a half. So we started it in an off season, and we already went through in 2021, and we went through all of the 2022 off season. So the answer to this question is yes. But I will say that I'm not going to make promises about a far future at this time. I will probably always be doing some sort of show. The format might change. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not making far future promises at this time. But yes, in terms of this isn't a regular season specific show. So if it didn't continue, it
in
wouldn't
Dynasty,
be
there's no off season.
Exactly.
It's literally
Like DLF
DLF's
said.
tagline.
It's true.
There's no off season.
It would, if it ended at a time, it would not be because we entered the off season. I think I've talked about it on here, taking a break from the show during the off season, just to take a few weeks off. I am more and more leaning toward that, given how I've felt lately. But no, I do plan to continue this show in some format. I tried to move Walker first for Hall after his injury.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sounds like your league mates kind of suck in that one.
Yeah.
Marquise Brown or DeAndre Swift?
Oh, Dynasty.
Yeah.
Rest of the season.
Yeah.
Dynasty.
Oh, it's gotta be Dynasty.
So, wow, that's actually a bit difficult, but I mean,
And not for me. I mean, it's Marquise Brown.
I love DeAndre Swift so much. I really do. I love him as a player, but this year sucked. This year sucked.
It's been like this every year. It's inconsistency.
I'm gonna take Marquise Brown. It's
Yeah, Marquise Brown.
I've seen the flashes and I just want to believe in him, but it's just so hard after all the inconsistency. So I'll take Marquise Brown.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the show misses Cal. He's a great moderator that leads the show, so you can be yourselves. Yeah, I will say that on my own show, I don't have a moderator, and I think it works fine. I do think the show is better with. I think I'm better with more people on the show over less. I think the best shows I've done have had 4 or even 5 people on the show, more people on the show, because then I have time to like set up my monologues or set up my rants or stuff like that. I can't do that if there's only 2 people on the show. So I do think that is one thing that's very true. I'm better off with more people on the show over fewer. So that's why you're going to see potentially we're going to have 3 people, 3 co-hosts, including myself, but additionally potentially guests in addition to those 3 co-hosts, because I do think that's a good way I can put myself into a good position to succeed. Yes, I know. I often say like I sometimes benefit from an adult. When I'm the adult, sometimes when I'm in control, sometimes I let things just completely go off the rails. But oh well. Yeah. I'm notoriously not a patient person, but we'll see. Like I said, this show's not going anywhere. At least not if I have anything to say about it. It's 101 for me.
Yeah.
I think
Bijan Robinson and Christian Watson. That's just
I think Bijan Robinson and Deshaun Watson will have similar value.
Yeah, and I'm also
Watson.
like I'm also really in on the Christian Watson train.
Yeah, I'm pretty in on him as well.
You'll see that in my next DLF article.
So I'm not giving that. Thanks for answering my my random jank questions. Love the show and hope you can pump the viewer numbers up. I hope so too. And I appreciate the support. And yeah, I just appreciate everyone who's watched the show over the years. And no, that wasn't me saying goodbye. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I don't want to fuck it up. Trade the 103 to the owner of the 101 and grab their 24 first and second, plus grab the 201 in 2023. Grab those 3 picks in a rebuild. What? I'm a little confused.
Trade the 103 to the owner of the 101 and grab their 24 first and second.
Confused. How are you getting the 24 first if you're trading a lesser pick? I don't understand this question.
So I think no, hold on. Trade the 103 to the owner of the 101.
For the 24 first, second, and the 201. That's not enough.
Yeah, you're not getting the 101.
Yeah, that's not enough.
It's the owner of the 101, but that's not enough.
Yeah, Bijan is not dropping to the 104. So
no,
Bijan's going to be the 101.
If he drops the 104 in a league, I need you to screenshot that and send that.
Don't worry.
But that will never happen. If he drops the 102, that's kind of ridiculous.
That's not even going to happen.
No.
Trade deadline. Traded away DK, Carr, Samaje for Chase and a 24 early to mid second. I'll take Chase.
I think it would take Chase there too. I feel like
no, not barely. I'll take Chase easily. It's not that close.
I think just like the other options you're giving away are just like none of them are like difference makers. Chase is a big difference maker. So yeah,
I agree. Okay, we answered that already. I would guess you didn't drink beer. Oh yeah, no, my whole fitness and eating clean thing is very much a thing. Thoughts on my trade? I traded Deshaun Watson for Judy. In what? But I probably prefer Deshaun Watson. I don't want Judy at all.
Deshaun Watson for Judy.
I don't want Judy.
Yeah, I don't want Judy.
One QB, I don't want Judy.
I don't want Judy at all. Yeah, I would take Deshaun Watson in every situation.
Oh, he's saying that if you had White in a majority of your leagues, I don't let that affect me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't let that affect me at all. Because if you bet on a player and they fail, like you gotta reanalyze your situation. Like you gotta adjust. Like I don't stick with a player just because I said I like them.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like as much as I want to say I love Elijah Moore, and I do still have some hope for him. Like it's been crushed for me,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
What does the 103 in Superflex get you straight up in quarterback ranks? Kyler Lawrence, Dak, or is it lower? I think it's tough.
Because 103, because Bijan Robinson's going 101, and then you
It
might.
does not get you any of those guys.
I don't think it will. No, because hold on, but what quarterback are you looking at? Or do you think you get Bryce Young?
There's no quarterback who's equivalent in value to the 103 because the top quarterbacks are all worth much more and everyone else is worth much less. So there is no quarterback who's equivalent in value because like these guys are worth more, and then the next group of like Kirk Cousins types, Trey Lance are worth way less. So there is no quarterback.
Weird. There's a weird teardrop here. I think.
Oh, it's a huge teardrop though. Yeah, but there's no quarterback. There's no quarterback who has an equivalent value to the 103. That's my answer to this question. There is none. You're either going 103 plus for these guys you listed, or you're going 103 for like it would be Cousins plus a lot.
Yes.
To get 103. So
yeah,
that's where we are with that question. Pick 2 flex: Palmer, Myers, Johnson, Pickens, Pacheco. Well, Myers was injured. I don't know. He's playing
Myers was hurt. He played last
I really don't want to play him.
Myers hurt last week when he played. He didn't do much, but he played.
No, he was hurt during the game.
Yes, he was hurt. Oh yeah, he was hurt. Sorry, he was hurt during the game. That's correct. Yeah.
For me, of these, I have Palmer the highest among those wide receivers. So I would go.
I don't want to play Deontay Johnson. I would play George.
And then I would go Pacheco. I would go Pacheco.
Go Pacheco.
With Palmer. Yeah.
Okay, I think Pacheco does have a safer floor. It's just the ceiling.
Well, I just feel that just given the options, these wide receivers are really not so good. So
I would play. I think if you need a bit more of a floor, I think I would go with Palmer and Pacheco like Tyler here. But if you need upside, I think George Pickens has the ability to make a big play or get in the end zone. So I'd take Palmer and Pickens if you need upside.
Yeah. But like I have Palmer at running back 21 and Pickens at wide receiver 30. So based on those ranks, I feel like it's or Pacheco at running back 21.
Yeah.
Elliott or Pollard? Pollard. Still.
Pollard. Yep.
I have it a lot closer this week than I did last week, though. I have Pollard at 16 and Elliott at 28. I guess that's not that close.
No, that's not close at all. Yeah,
it's a lot closer than I had him last week. I had Pollard at 9 and Elliott at 30-something.
Oh, geez. Oh, yeah.
So.
I mean, yeah, that's because last week was the week after the 2 weeks where Pollard had been RB. Was he RB1 2 straight weeks?
Pollard at 16 might be a little bit high. Yeah, maybe I should have.
Pollard 16 is a bit high. Yeah, that's up there. Where are the Cowboys playing this week? They're playing
Colts.
Oh no, Colts. Sorry, yeah, Colts.
It isn't home. It's a home game. I'm not. I think they're gonna be playing from ahead.
Yeah, they're gonna be playing from ahead all game, which actually kind of favors Zeke a little bit for me.
I'm not sure about that.
Slightly favors Zeke.
Last week their roles were totally reversed.
Yeah,
I'm not sure who it favors.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ahead means that I like the running backs more in general. Offer Jacobs for Kamara. Yeah, well, I'm very happy that got declined.
Yeah.
Any trades you've made recently that have since aged like a fine wine?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't.
I don't have this like off the top of my head. I mean,
I don't have this. I would have to dig. I would have to dig and find it for you.
But let's look at Eric's trade. Deontay, Hollywood, and Stafford, McKenzie for Tua, 24 first and second. That's very good. Yeah.
Wait, where are you? Where's that comment?
I'm reading it. It's right here.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. I missed that part of the comment. Okay. Hollywood, Stafford, McKenzie for Tua, 24 first, 24 second. Wow. Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
On the collusion aspect early, what type of punishment do you think is necessary?
I
don't know.
I mean,
these are good answers. Banishment or exile. Yeah, that's another thing. Okay. Competing team, full PPR. Should I ship the 101 Bateman at 25 first for Walker and Garrett Wilson? No. No, still no. I don't want to give up Bijan for that kind of. Walker is not Bijan.
Yeah, I know, but that's Walker and Garrett Wilson is that's a big package receiving back. So that is tough, but 101 and 25 first and Bateman is I think that's a little too much for that big package.
Bijan or
Bijan or
Jeff.
Jeff. That is
I
correct.
mean, it could be higher if he comes in and is actually everything. It'll be higher.
No,
But
because
yeah,
the thing is, well, it depends than it is currently.
yeah,
Yeah, because the thing is, it depends on where he gets drafted. Because if he gets drafted to like Atlanta, or if he gets drafted to Buffalo, those are two very different teams. Or if Miles
Yeah.
Sanders were to leave Philly and he gets drafted to the Eagles, that's a very different situation. Like there are many different situations where he could go. But is there a team where he goes? I mean, is there a realistic outcome for him for where he lands in the draft where he's not the 101
no,
and Bryce Young possibly isn't a super flex?
no.
Or is he always the 101? He always the 101. I think I agree there.
This
Yeah,
is how I feel.
yeah, I think it's a very, very fair point there.
Love the show. Hope it continues forever. I follow Tyler, but can we get both your Twitter handles? Appreciate both of you taking your time. Thank you. They're
So
right there.
I'm at my
Yeah, they're
handle
right
is
there.
right on my username.
They're
I'm
right
at
there.
HutchinsonB_FF. I'm right there.
Those are the Twitter handles. So you can follow both of us there. I
Yep.
didn't change the ranking, so don't worry. Don't worry. I have you covered.
You didn't change it?
No.
Nah. All right.
I didn't change it. All right. Well, I thank everyone who listened or watched or whatever the show. If you liked it, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. You can check out, if you subscribe, all the great stuff that Addison and Justin are doing along with everyone else. But those are, the two content leads for this YouTube channel. And then, I'll see you guys on Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern on my channel. Hutch may or may not be there at some point.
Yeah, it's Mondays
week to week. Yeah.
Monday's gotten very tough for me schedule-wise.
And then we'll be back here. I will say next week's show will be at it'll be earlier. It's not going to start at 9.
You're shooting for 7:30, correct?
Yeah, well, I think we're gonna almost certainly go for 7:30. And I think that's going to be our time moving forward. For me, I feel like, speaking of things to improve things, I tend to run out of gas around 11. So on the days, and also you are in school, so if we ever want to do a 3-hour show, we can't do it if it starts at 9.
Yeah, I would.
So it gives us more flexibility for that reason, and also for Josh, who's going to be our other co-host. I definitely talked it over with him, and he said when I mentioned 7:30, he was like, "Well, that's much better for me." So I was like, "Okay, well, sounds like it's better for everybody." Cool. So that we, barring any changes, we will be here at 7:30 Eastern time next week. I'll put up the StreamYard more in advance than usual to give everyone advance notice about that. But until then, I will see you all next week. I appreciate all of you, and thanks for supporting me over the last year and a half. And peace out.